We gotta give Fnatic a round of applause on this one, guys. They have made my job as a tech reviewer so much easier. Now, when you guys ask me, hey, like what is one of your favorite gaming keyboards or one that I would recommend to almost anybody, the STREAK65 LP honestly is just that. It's such a good keyboard at such a great price that I think it's extremely reasonable, and it is a lot better than a lot of other options that are available right now. And to be honest, the other options didn't really make picking one of them very easy because they all had like little or huge caveats that I just could not get on board with, including the original STREAK65 to some degree. I really just hated the keycaps, which is the first thing that we'll talk about, because Fnatic did address those keycaps, and now instead of them being super shiny and greasy ABS, they are now in fact double shot PBT. Now the STREAK65 LP is the new version. The STREAK65 was the original with those ABS keycaps, so now that one is gone. It was, I want to say, $110, but the new keyboard is now $120. But for that extra $10, what do you get? Well, number one, as I just said, we talked about the keycaps. Those are the first thing that you get for that extra $10. And the second thing is this little coiled USB Type-C cable. It doesn't have an aviator or anything, but it looks okay. It looks pretty decent. The quality is not bad. It's not necessarily the straightest coil I've ever seen. Honestly, the best part about this cable is the fact that the amount of cable off of the coil coming to the USB Type-C connector is not that long. Like, it's pretty short, and this is actually what I would like to see on a lot more expensive coiled cables that could cost up to $100 for just the cable. This is just about the appropriate amount of cable from the coil to the keyboard. So I'm really glad they did a great job with that. I also really love the white colorway as well because it shows the RGB so much better than the black one did. And the black one is fine too. Maybe if you want to have, you know, like a black keyboard and mouse combo, but typically I usually have like my white G Pro Superlight on my desk. So I would like a white keyboard to match just for consistency. These little foot pads, which I do like as well because I do prefer to use with these little flip out feet out, because when it's just flat, for me personally, it's just a little bit too flat. Like, I can definitely use it, but I wouldn't exactly call it super comfortable. Whereas when I have the feet out, I would indeed say that this is a very comfortable typing and gaming experience. This little Fnatic badge does come off as well with magnets. I'm not too sure why you would take this off, and they don't have an option where you can customize these badges on their website either, so not too sure why you can't take that off, but maybe that's something that they'll add in the near future. Hopefully that would be kind of nice to be able to personalize that, where you have the Fnatic logo and maybe like your name or gamer tag or whatever. I just think that that would be a cool like $10 add-on that they could do. Getting back to the build quality, this keyboard does feature a full aluminum construction for both the top and the bottom plate. Feeling the bottom plate, there has to be some kind of coating on this because it is slightly cold to the touch, but most of the bottom where you do have this coating, it's not as cool to the touch. But if you feel underneath these flip out feet, very similarly cold to the touch as the top plate does. Now, getting back to the rest of the keyboard, inside they have also added dampening foam that does help a little bit with the acoustics. These switches, they call them Fnatic low profile switches. I'm not too sure if these are silent switches, so they are relatively smooth, and the bottom out is not harsh either, and it's not loud. So if you have other people in the room and you're gaming, it's not going to disturb them. You might with your loud voice chat, but your keyboard won't disturb them. The stabilizers are also lubed as well, so they do feel pretty good, and I would definitely say that this is more of a grease job than it is a lube job because it's not extremely smooth as far as the stabilizers. Like, they're good. I wouldn't say that they're like super smooth though in comparison to like a custom keyboard, of course, but for a gaming keyboard, this is going to be better than pretty much anything else on the market. As far as software, you can download the Fnatic OP app on your computer. That way you can further customize the lighting effects as well as the keybinds if you really want to. I'm really fine with the keybinds that are set and also printed on the keycaps as well, because you just hit the function key and you can do any of these secondary functions listed at the bottom of all the keycaps. So it's really easy for all your media controls, all the lighting controls. I really don't have much need to use the mapping feature, but if you like to have other binds set to your main keys, then that may be a good reason to use the app and further customize your keyboard. And that's pretty much all I have to say about the STREAK65 LP. I'm not going to make this review really long because I've already done a full review on the old STREAK65, so I will have that linked in the description below. But this keyboard definitely does top out my list for the most easily recommendable and fairly priced gaming keyboard, because this keyboard is 120 bucks. I think that is extremely fair for what you get for what really is a no compromise experience in terms of gaming. Really, the only thing that I could say that is a little bit of a compromise is the fact that this keyboard isn't hot swap, but the switches are really good, and I don't really feel a need to want to swap the switches. And you also don't really need to lube the stabilizers really any further because they all feel pretty decent. But this is a lot better than what I used previously, which was my other favorite gaming keyboard, was the HyperX Ally Origin 60. That keyboard is 100 bucks, but the stabilizers are really rattly. Even though the switches sound good, there is a bit of hollowness, and I can definitely tell that there isn't any dampening foam in that board. So my new favorite pick for double shot PBT keycaps, as well as a solid keyboard, which is also in my preferred layout, being 65% for 120 bucks. The only other keyboard that would round out this list that I have confidence in that it will be pretty good, but it's not out yet, and I won't probably get one till about January because I did pre-order it, but it's the Ducky 1.3, not 1.2 or the older Ducky keyboards. I already have one of those. I never use it, even though it's a full size. It's part of the reason why I never use it. But I never use my Ducky keyboard anymore. I might, if that one happens to be good, because it can either be slightly cheaper than the Fnatic or a little bit more expensive than the Fnatic, depending on what you get. But I want to say that the cheaper versions don't come with RGB like the Fnatic does. Definitely doesn't come with this coil cable. If it does, I'll be surprised. And again, it can also be more expensive than $120. But the reason why I mentioned the 1.3 is that Ducky typically has pretty good stabilizers that are a lot better than the HyperX ones, and it also will be hot swap, so you can use it with full size keys, but it's just not available yet, so I can't firmly put it in the top 3. But I hope that it lands there, but for right now I just have a top 2, the STREAK65 LP and the HyperX 60 for my second choice. But to be honest, again, I prefer 65%, and this layout with the double shot PBT keycaps is a lot better. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any other questions or reasons why you want to justify your purchase on buying this keyboard, ask away in the comment section below. There's an affiliate link in the description below that goes straight to Fnatic's site, and once it's available on Amazon, I'll also put the link to an Amazon link as well. But it is available now directly from Fnatic if you want it sooner than later. I'll leave a link to that. But thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.